Hello everyone, this is Clossi, and I am back with another video, and in today's video, we are going to talk about how to improve your reading. And for those of you who say, I don't read, well, then this video is not for you. You can just stay that low rank that you are, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, this is for those of you who want to improve your reading, and more specifically want to improve your fighting ability, because I think most people probably have noticed that the biggest reading mistakes are happening in the fights. If you mess up a fight and you die, then it's pretty much game over right there, right? Regardless of how good your opening is or your in-game is, it just, regardless of how many points you have, if your group just dies, then it's game over and you just lose. So it's really unfortunate when your groups die, and so everyone hates that. Yeah. Question mark? Anyway, getting back to what I'm trying to talk about, this video is on how to improve your reading, and I'm going to give you some really cool tips and ideas to practice in order to improve your ability to read. So the first thing I encounter when I ask my students, why aren't you reading, or how do you read, or what do you do, is number one, they don't do enough Go problems. So if you are doing like one Go problem a day, you're doing better than most. Step one, do one Go problem a day. Yeah, right there. Honestly, that is better than what most people are already doing. So I think actually, if you can do one Go problem a day, that's good habits. Yeah, I just think you should be doing more than that. Now, this has worked for me. I don't know if it'll work for you guys. Is I do a lot of kind of easy problems, not like super easy. I get on my little app. So you can see my little Sumego Pro app right there. It's called Sumego Pro. You can see that I've just completed the first 3 libraries, and I went through those very, very quickly. I went through those in like a day, and there's like 300 problems in each. But then I just skipped those because I wasn't really gaining much out of like solving Atari problems. And I went to the intermediate problems. You can see I'm 67% through that. And then I plan to do all of the problems, and then eventually do all the problems in the entire app, which is more than like 2,700 problems. And I plan to do all of them. So how I'm doing this is I'm tackling Go problems with quantity over difficulty. And what that means is I'm just doing a lot of Go problems. Now, I've done thousands of Go problems in my Go career, and Go problems are great not just for improving your reading, but learning new shapes and learning new patterns that you can execute stuff in. So for example, Tsuji's, how do you know that double Hane Tsuji is a double Hane Tsuji? Well, you know that because either someone showed you, you saw it in a book, or it got played against you. So if you never see the shapes and you never see the patterns, then you're never going to learn. So just doing thousands of Go problems and doing the easy ones is actually a great way to learn a lot of new patterns very, very quickly. So basically what I recommend for Go problems is spending about 30 minutes a day, maybe an hour a day if you have the time. Not everyone does, I understand. But spending about 30 minutes a day, and I would say maybe either a few 10-minute sessions or one full session. So if you don't have time to just sit and do Go problems 30 minutes, or maybe you don't have the patience, then maybe divide it into smaller 10-minute sections might help you out. Now, that does divide your focus, because you focus for 10 minutes, you read, and then it doesn't really improve your mental stamina as much. So I know for those of you who struggle with mental stamina, maybe you need to sit for 30 minutes and do Go problems 30 minutes just to get yourself used to sitting there and reading for 30 minutes straight. But if you don't struggle with that and you're fine with reading the whole game, but you don't really have enough time during the day, then you can divide it up into like 10-minute sections, like 3 10-minute sections, or maybe 6 10-minute sessions, or whatever, and just try to do as many Go problems as you can in that 10 minutes or that 30 minutes. The idea is to do Go problems that take you around 30 seconds to solve, and I recommend that you usually don't spend more than a minute on a single problem. If it takes you longer than a minute, just look at the answer. There's no need to sit there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever trying to find an answer when you can just look at it. Now, there's a catch. There's a catch. don't just look at the answer and then never look at the problem again. You need to revisit this problem in a couple days. That's why I said I want to go through all the problems in the Go app. I'm probably going to do the entire Go app like 3 times. So what I recommend for you is to find problems that take you about 30 seconds to solve most of the time. And on the problems that take you like longer than a minute, just look at the answer and then do the whole library. And then redo the library again, and the second time, or maybe the third time, try to solve all of them without looking at the answer. And hopefully by the third time, you'll be able to solve all the problems without having to look at the answer at all, and then you'll have that shape pretty much down, because you'll have seen it multiple times, and you know what the answer is, and you know how to tackle that shape. But hopefully that will help you with your life and death reading. And during the game, you'll also know shapes more often. Now, the whole point of the 30 seconds idea is because a lot of people are misreading in Byo-Yomi, myself included. So 30 seconds is really good for being able to solve a simple life and death problem very, very quickly. This will speed up your reading, so that way you can utilize your Byo-Yomis more efficiently and solve a life and death problem within 30 seconds to a minute, or within 1 period or 2 periods of Byo-Yomi, you can pretty much solve that life and death problem. Now, not everything is as easy, and there are arguments for solving more difficult problems, because, for example, if you solve a really difficult problem that took you like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you're more likely to remember that shape, especially if you revisit it the next day and try to solve it faster, and get it to the point where you can solve that problem that took you 5 or 10 minutes within a minute. If you can solve that problem within a minute after doing it multiple times, then you learn that shape and you'll remember it a lot better long term, because of how much effort you put into it and because of the thrill of solving such a difficult problem. The downside is it takes a long time, and as most Westerners know, you don't have as much time as to study this game. So I find that it's more efficient for people who are limited on their time to do Go problems that take them around 30 seconds. However, you need to do hundreds of these. That is the counter argument. If you're not going to do hard problems and learn them in and out just really well and spend 5-10 minutes reading, then you need to do hundreds of simple problems, like not easy problems, but simple problems that you can solve within 30 seconds or so, and you need to do hundreds of them. The execution in your game is recommended to do that when you are in a life and death situation, when you are completely surrounded. You need to mentally check and like shift gears to, this is now a life and death problem. Either my opponent's completely surrounded or I'm completely surrounded. I need to do the life and death, and I just need to figure out what shapes are in there. And hopefully doing hundreds of Go problems will help you figure out what shapes are available in that specific area. So the whole point of Go problems is to help you when your groups get surrounded. So that's its execution part. Now to move on to step number 2. Always, 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 always read out your ladders stone for stone. Don't go doot, 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 doot. No doots, guys. Don't read with doots. I understand when you're in time trouble, following the line is much faster. It can be pretty accurate, and it's just efficient, I guess. But you're missing out on a very good practice, a very good thing that will help you over time. If you do 100 ladders, your reading's not going to improve that much. But if you visualize the stones in 100 different ladders, it is going to greatly increase your ability to read, because stone visualization is so important for reading, guys. I cannot stress that enough. You have to visualize your stones when you read, and ladders are one of the best ways to practice this. So every time you see a ladder, either in your own game or in a friend's game or when you're watching games, I highly recommend just take a few seconds and read it out stone for stone. It's going to be so effective over time. If you want to just start practicing, maybe once a day, set up a ladder on your Go board. Maybe set it up close, set the end of the ladder up close, read it out, and then set from one end of the board to the other end of the board, and just read it all the way across the board. And it will really, really help you improve just doing it every morning or something. Just set up a ladder, or maybe just leave the ladder, just read it out every morning. Anyway, so that is step number 2, is read ladders. It'll improve your stone visualization. Your execution for that should be in the game. Whenever you read, you should try to visualize the stones and check the liberties, check the cuts, blah, blah, blah. Which brings us to step number 3, and this is the final step I will say in this video. Always, always, always read the cuts. And this is also going to be a tip in my attack and defense videos and stuff, is always check the cuts. But in this video, I'm going to use the wording always read the cuts. Always visualize the cuts, always check it, play it out in your head, and see if there's any like shenanigans going on. Maybe the cut doesn't work directly, but maybe it affects something else, and then if you play that something else first, then the cut works, or you threaten to do the cut. You never know. So always check the cuts, always read the cuts, and it'll really improve your attack and defense in general, and always will help you understand if your stones are connected. It'll really help the Aji. I cannot stress enough how important cuts are in attack and defense, guys. Like, making sure your groups are connected is so key in defense, and making sure that your opponent's groups can't be disconnected. If you can disconnect your opponent's groups, it's going to be so powerful when you attack, and it's going to be so powerful if you can cut them off in your own position that you control. So always check the cuts. Now, you have to take the global position into account, and that requires judgment. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't read the cuts. Reading the cuts will help you so much with your attack and defense. This is to be executed when you are in a running battle or a touching battle. Running battles, if they run with a Knight's move is meant for attacking, not defending, you should check the cut. If they run with a 1-point jump next to thickness, you should check the cut. If they are in a touching battles almost always have like hanes and wedges and all kinds of cutting potential, so you should always read the cuts in your contact fights. So in the contact fights and in the running battles, always check the connections, always check the disconnections, and always read the cuts. You should always understand what is keeping you connected and how you are connected. If you don't, then you are running in a very dangerous way. And you can really improve your attacking if you can cut your opponent. And if you're struggling with defense, try staying connected and try moving the fastest that you can, run away in the fastest shape possible while staying connected will be super helpful. So my third tip is read the cuts every single time. It'll really help you out. And that should be executed or applied usually in your attack and defense scenarios where you're not completely surrounded, because that's a life and death problem, but in your running battles. So when in contact fights and when you're just running away in general, you should always check the connections and always read the cuts, and all be in your shape and your opponent's shape. It'll be super helpful for you guys. To reiterate the steps, number 1 is always be thinking about how many life and death problems you're doing, like every week, every day, and try to do more life and death problems. So number 1 is try to do more life and death problems and apply that in situations where groups are surrounded, and it'll really help your ability to determine if something's alive or dead. Number 2 is reading ladders. It will really help your stone visualization, which will overall improve your reading in every scenario. So reading ladders is a really good exercise to improve your reading. And number 3 is always read the cuts. It will really help you with attack and defense. And that should be applied in usually running battles and contact fights. Those are the most common places that you see cuts. So always do that, and it will really help you out. So those 3 steps will really help you guys, I feel like, and with your reading and with your games, and I really hope you guys find that helpful. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.